So welcome back to episode 3 of
Badger Banter. We need to actually come up with
a
like a key.
You need a logo.
Yeah, we need
jingle.
We need a jingle. Well, actually, hopefully we will have theme songs soon, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is episode 3. We're recording it a little later than we normally do. We normally record on a Saturday, but we're recording this on Monday, the 2nd of October.
Happy Halloween month, everybody.
Oh yeah, 31 days of horror stuff. I mean, it doesn't change much for me.
I was like, don't tie us to this.
But the reason we didn't get to record a podcast on Saturday is because we were shooting a short film, which is a thing that we do from time to time.
Quite regularly.
Yeah, that's fairly true. It's called Savior. It's really horrible. And it will be available in February. That's kind of all
the first time people will see it will be February, unless you're a backer of Patreon.
In which case we might be able to.
We still need to figure out the legalities of it, but we may be able to show patrons.
Yeah, we might be able to, possibly sometime in December.
Yeah.
If all goes well, we could actually get a private link out to Patreon subscribers. So consider that,
So if you're interested in becoming a patron, head to patreon.com/Celtic Badger Media. I'm sure we'll put a link somewhere.
Yeah, and like that, this whole Badger Banter thing that you're hearing right now, you probably picked this up on SoundCloud, or you're a patron. So if you're somebody who picked it up on SoundCloud, you're getting it later than those people, so they can lord that over you. They can be like, I listened to that like 2 weeks ago.
They can be the best type of hipsters because they support us.
You're turning into me. Cool. That's kind of our shout outs today done. Well, actually, one little other one is we just want to give a massive shout out to another huge friend of the podcast and supporter of the stuff that we've done, and Nick Vince, again, because he spent the weekend at Monster Mania in the US with the other 3 Cenobites from Hellraiser.
Did you see the photo they put up?
There was a beautiful photo of the 4 of them, and they're just like, it's just like movie monsters are the best people.
Yeah.
They're all lovely. So, but Nick seemed to have an absolutely amazing time. There was a chatter birthday cake I saw for somebody.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it looked like a brilliant blast. So, and poor Nick has to come back to reality to working with us soon. So, poor thing. And so, without any further ado, I normally introduce a guest first, but I'm going to reverse it this week.
Well, sitting on my right is quite a lovely lady, if I do say so myself. She is owner and operator of the Sanctuary Centre in Lochray, and she is our health and wellness badger. We have Vachn and Gill.
Hello.
Tiny clap.
Yeah, golf claps.
The sound of one hand clapping.
What's the one in Wanderlust? We think clapping is rude, so they just do this.
What is it they do in all the jazz cafes? Did you like that?
I think that works for Vachn. That suits Vachn for more than a clap.
I'm a beatnik now. I'm well dressed for a beatnik today.
And to my left, it's my left.
Yeah,
right.
It's my left, right?
Is writer, director, DOP, editor.
No.
You've been all those things at one point or another.
Doesn't mean I do them all well.
No, but you have done them. That's a thing.
Don't give me all those titles.
Primarily editor for a lot of...
There we go.
What are the 3 on your business card? That's how I introduced myself in the first one.
Okay, I need to get a business card.
Did I not make you one? I was sure I made you one.
No, we made up a template, but it was too late, so I never printed them.
No.
But what did it say in the template?
I don't know. That was like 2 years ago almost.
I'm going to say that you're majoritively editor.
Yeah.
But you've done a lot of other things.
I'm like 80% like up to about here. Editor.
And this
then
is
some
Aaron
others.
Walsh.
Hi.
Another Badger buddy.
Yay.
Badger thing. So it's more Badger Banter with Badger buddies.
With actual badgers.
Can we actually get 2 actual live badgers on for the podcast someday?
I actually saw a dead one on the road on the way here.
I will see feel like it's a
That's
bad
not a good omen, yeah.
Aaron CBM business card. Here we go.
Oh my god.
Co-founder, editor, and writer. There you
I
go.
think those are all fairly fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and so...
I did a burp.
I mean, I'm trying to think of stuff that I can say about Aaron and not get too offensive.
You don't. We can just go move on.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't need to be an essay written about me here.
Well, we're all Badgers. We've all worked together on multiple projects,
Yeah.
and now we're going to talk shite for an hour and a half, 2
Yeah, I'm
hours.
so excited.
It's going to be fun. So, first of all, we just usually top of the show kind of thing. Thank you so much to the guests we had last week, which was Luca Doherty and Stephen Tuberty.
Oh God.
There was a lot I had to edit,
Oh God.
Yeah.
which is why the podcast is late. Between shooting and everything, it was like I don't have time to edit out the stuff that Dub said that shouldn't be in there.
You literally singled him out now. Like, it could have been Luke, but
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It's all
Luke
done.
was
Actually,
actually
very restricted.
I was just going to say that. He was very reserved. He was very much like, if he didn't know what to say, he was like, can Tubbs answer first and come back to me?
Yeah.
And it was like, and he thought about it, and then once you gave Tubbs the mic, there was a couple of times I had to legitimately cut him off. And he was like, but you know, like, and I was like, yeah, I do. So, Luke, what do you think?
That actually did confirm that happened like numerous times.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, but this is Tubbs who, when I drop him off after a shoot, I literally have to spend 15 minutes in my car going, get on my car, Tubbs, get on my car, Tubbs, get on my car, Tubbs.
I love the man,
We
but
love
when you have a
Tubbs.
2 hour limit, you know, you gotta.
But even my fear is when I'm dropping him home, like Lisa's inside and she's pissed at him for being late already,
Yeah.
and he's like not getting on my car, and I'm like, I'm not getting killed for you. Get
Yeah.
out.
Go inside.
It's like, I love you and all, but I'm not. I don't value my life.
Yeah.
That love.
But yeah, it was a fun podcast, so that should be hopefully going out fairly shortly, and then we'll also be releasing the video of our first podcast fairly soon as well.
Yep.
And we're still early in days with the Badger Banter podcast. We're only 3 weeks in. We're learning as we go, and there's going to be a lot of changes and developments as we go. But one of the main things we want to keep going with is consistency and making sure you guys are getting regular content,
Yes, for sure.
especially the patrons.
Yes.
The rest of you we don't care as much about.
We just care more deeply for the patron.
No, we
I
do.
love that your laugh just entered all of our mics.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's basically it's
Yeah.
basically the laugh. But no, genuinely, I'm spoofing because like I love putting stuff out on the Celtic Badger Media Facebook page
Yeah.
and other places as well. It's just with Patreon, it's cool to see that there are people that are willing to back that as well.
Yeah, and it's cool to have that, like almost like a secret club where you're like, oh, you can see this extra still because you're a patron. It's
Yeah.
like that to me is really cool. Like that's
As I said to you before, like when it comes to other like ones that I'm like other podcasts and stuff that I'm a fan of, it's that like with their patrons, it's the same thing. It's like you feel like you're part of something that not everybody is, which I think is super important. We hopefully make you feel that way.
No.
For $3 a month, you can help feed a starving filmmaker.
starving badger.
Look at Aaron; he's all skin and bones.
He is.
You're gonna start getting little badger boxes.
Like the little truck robots.
Yeah, just our faces on them.
It's just for bringing it into school, and they'll just be like, "Well, I guess this is a thing." Like,
Yeah.
donate.
Help a badger, and
And
there's
it's
actual
just
badges
it's
on
just
it.
Tubbs in his like Paddy the Pikey outfit sitting in the corner,
Oh god!
Just sitting on the ground.
I'd like to shoot up.
dirty on the front, clean on the back.
Speaking of which, I mean, it's not necessarily something that was on the agenda or anything, but I mean, it's been kind of 2 weeks since we've announced that the Three Don'ts secured worldwide distribution with Hex Media,
Yeah.
which still
Still hard to sink in. I was talking with Fiach. I met Fiach last night for I handed over the master.
He's the lead star of Blue Dawn, which is a film that Barry made and
As-
with DOP on, and
Yeah.
Directed by Nash Foley.
All round lovely dude and sexy bastard.
Captain America, the Irish version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irish Christopher Evans. So I met Fiach last night, and I handed over all the masters for Blue Dawn because it's being screened in 2 weeks' time in Indy Cork. So I gave him all the masters and stuff last night, and
By the time this goes out, it'll probably have screened.
yeah. If not, you still have time. So when I met him, he was like, asking about the distribution and stuff like that, and even telling him was really surreal. It was like, yeah, we're going to do limited theatrical run in the US and the UK, and we're still in talks about doing a theatrical release in Ireland and our own DVDs and worldwide VOD distribution. It was like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
even still saying it out loud is like, this is our first CBM feature, and we still have
It's
all that. That's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, we've started getting into the deliverable side of things now, and it's like that's the side where I was always a little like, oh crap, like because once you have to start delivering stuff, that's when it has to be like finished, right?
And for other filmmakers out there, I made my first DCP over the weekend. That was fun. It's a lot of steps.
I do love that, as I say, like the podcast we did last week, you had no idea how to make a DCP.
Yeah.
And but the podcast this week, you have made a DCP.
Yeah.
That's to me that is the embodiment of being a badger, though.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how to do this, I better learn how to do this.
Do it now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's kind of. I said it to you actually last night. It was like,
Oh, do you two guys know each other?
yeah, a little bit. We live together.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
wait, maybe that's the one piece I shouldn't put out. Yeah, we know each other.
Me and Aaron know each other too.
Me and Paddy
Yeah.
live together.
Yeah, that's true. He's like a child
Also.
of mine.
Except I live in a shoebox
Sweet child of mine is what you are.
in the dog house in a dump yard 30 miles away.
I didn't know they had a dump yard that close.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that where you got the new car?
yeah.
Someone,
you ever see All Dogs
someone
Go to
threw out
Heaven?
the keys.
I just dragged it out.
He's kind of like the lead character in All Dogs Go to Heaven. You see All Dogs Go to Heaven?
That movie,
forgot
I
about
shit you
that
not,
film.
terrified me as a child.
Of course. The part where he goes to hell.
Terrified. Yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
Like, I
It's
legit had
awful.
nightmares about it. It
I
was
loved
like,
it.
Like,
Scary.
and then I just bawl my eyes out at the end of it.
yeah.
But
All
like,
the
yeah,
feels.
the hell scene, I was like, I'll watch horror films. And I'm still fucking freaked out.
Yeah,
by
that
it.
film
There's
exists.
something about the animation and stuff like that. It
Don
was-
Bluth stuff always was a bit mad looking.
Yeah.
Wasn't Burt Reynolds was the voice of the lead Alsatian in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really obvious when you hear it. You're like, ah, look at that. He's suave. Look at that. That Alsatian is suave as fuck.
We're getting very sidetracked.
Yeah.
So DCP. So I was just saying it was just a great learning experience to like literally go in with, this is what I have to do. Now what do I have to do to get to that point? And
a
yeah,
lot of insomnia.
a lot of insomnia,
I
a
had-
lot of 3 a.m. nights.
I had a similar experience with the game thing when it was, effectively like, okay, yeah, I'll make a game for you. How do I make the game again? And it wasn't as everyone keeps going, yeah, but you had done it before. And I'm like, no, let me correct you. I was project manager and I did sound. I never did any kind of coding stuff whatsoever. So like that, in 2 days I watched 3 days I watched 44 hours of tutorials. So that was,
That doesn't leave a lot of room for anything else.
yeah, I just remember that and then I was still trying to do Dawn stuff at that time as well and stuff. But yeah,
Do you remember those days?
I remember those tutorials vividly. Like
Oh, because if that was me, I would just blacked out. I would have it done and been like, what have I done?
now, it's like I literally have that thing where like as soon as I go back to it, I'm like the tutorials just play in my head. Like they're embedded.
No, that kind of stuff blurs for me.
All right, I don't know, because it was the same when I learned Photoshop. I was working for a company in Dublin, and they had these things called mind prints from the game they were working on, and they were unique to the user on Twitter and stuff. And I thought, oh well, each one is generated, so we'll just pull them from like wherever they're stored in the cloud, etc. Whatever, and we'll just print them, because they offered like posters to the first 100 people that did it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, so how do we do this? And they were like, you'll have to recreate them from scratch. And we were like, okay, there's 2 of us here, 100 posters by 4 o'clock today. That's going to be fun. And Jim, one of the programmers I worked with, was like, I'll show you if you use Photoshop, come here. And I was like, I've never used Photoshop before. And he was like, you need to learn now, damn it. And I learned Photoshop in 30 minutes, but it was so intense that it was like, it just
Stayed.
is locked in there.
Nice.
And then we got it done. It was fun.
High five. This is good sync and everything. I like it.
We do a little thing at the start of each show as well. We've never let a guest start on that. We might do that this week.
Oh
That'd
yeah,
be
I'm
fun.
cool with that.
We do a little section called Top Picks. So the idea with that is something you've been watching, reading, listening to. It doesn't have to be legitimately like from last week. That's what everybody always goes like, well, it's not something from last. It's something that recently you've been like, it's kind of blown your mind?
Oh, it hasn't. Yeah, okay.
Um,
Who's going first?
Balls.
Yes.
What have I been doing recently, other than
working.
working?
I know those feels as well. As I say, it's quite open-ended. It can be music.
Yeah, I was never a gamer, but I've been playing a lot of Sky Factory recently.
My bad.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating and so annoying.
That's the best review
But
I've ever heard
it's
for a game.
fucking amazing. It pisses you off enough that you have to go and build something from scratch and go, well, fuck you, Sky Factory. I did that. And I kind of love it. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah. For
Sky
anybody
Factory is basically like, it's like Minecraft, but
on
Yeah,
steroids.
I think it's like
Yeah.
Minecraft, but it's like the modding community got together, and I think
It's
instead of
all
just
about-
being like a single mod that this happens,
Yeah.
or whatever, there's like 160 something mods all crammed in together, and then they use that to basically like, well, you can just spawn on the top of a tree on a single dirt block with nothing else around, and you should be able to build an entire world. And
from
you are
scratch.
God.
but it's like it's
Yeah.
funny how much of it is based in real life. Like you mine the leaves from the tree, and then you compost that to make dirt, and then you like run the dirt through like a filter to get pebbles, and then you can make stone if you have enough pebbles. And
Okay.
you know, it's all these sort of things that all
You
Yeah.
have to build first. Find the building blocks and then build.
It almost
From
sounds to me
scratch.
like it almost sounds like Minecraft, but a puzzle game. As
Yeah.
in,
Nearly,
because
yeah.
instead of it being just like here's all this stuff, go build what you want, or
Yeah.
here's limited stuff, but it's everywhere and you can go get what you need. It's like I specifically need this, and
Yeah.
this to do this, to create this. To do, like it
Yeah.
feels like it's a puzzle game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is, because like the most terrifying moment is when you spawn on top of that tree and you know that like that tree is your lifeline. Like if you cut out all the leaves and if you don't get like a sapling to plant another tree, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because if you can't grow another tree, you have nothing else.
It sounds like Lemmings. It sounds like in Lemmings where if you screwed up in one way, then it was like, well, all my lemmings are dead now. Just leave it
Yeah.
happen. Like I could have done this, but no, it's gone.
And you legit like fall off the universe.
Yeah.
And there's
Sounds like my life.
there's a grave with your shit in it. So if you like die, you can attempt to rescue your stuff.
You know the
right,
way,
yeah, like a loot trap.
Yeah, you know the way like in Minecraft, if you die, like your stuff just explodes
explodes
everywhere,
everywhere, yeah.
and if you're like a million miles away, if you don't get to it in time, it'll despawn. Instead of that, in this, when you die, you get a little gravestone with your player ID on it, and to get your stuff back, you have to dig out the grave and get all your stuff back. It's really
That's
funny.
amazing. Aaron,
Something that's blown my mind.
yeah, like is
Well,
it
like,
No,
so-
like
not
I don't
you know,
know.
something that
No, because nothing has recently. I don't think.
really
Yeah,
wow.
I was disappointed by a show last night.
Oh, cool.
I
Tell
was
us
on,
about your disappointment.
I was on Netflix. I was in bed and I was like, I just want to watch something that I'll kind of zombify to and just kind of fall asleep to, like easy viewing.
yeah.
So like I watched like A League of Their Own. I like Jack Whitehall.
Yeah.
So I watched his like travels with my dad thing
Oh yeah.
in Thailand and stuff, and it annoyed me so much because you could clearly tell that all the situations were mostly
pretty
set
set
up.
up.
I was just like, ah, God,
Yeah.
what's the point of the travel show then?
You seemed to when we were on set the other day. You seemed to be enjoying what little bit of Big Mouth you watched.
Oh, I was just confused because I came in when it was halfway through the intro credits.
Which?
Big Mouth.
What's Big
It's
Mouth?
a new Netflix
Oh,
kind
God.
of adult cartoon series. So like
Yeah.
you know, like
It's
another.
like it's like two kids going through like adolescence.
Oh, we
Yeah.
watched. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Big Mouth.
We
I've
watched.
never seen Baz clip. That's
I got so excited.
Sorry,
I know, yeah, it's great.
my bad, audience. That was actually what I wanted to talk about. but I couldn't remember the name of it. I was actually going to look it up if Paddy was going next, so that no one.
Yeah, because I was it was on, and then I was like, oh, I'm doing BTS, so I have to get everything going on, so I just had to leave the room because I would have just stayed there and watched the whole thing.
Well, I just remember walking into the room and I was like, what are you doing, whatever, and you were just like, this intro credit sequence is one of the greatest things ever. Seriously, it's so. It
was just mad, yeah. And I only saw about 10 seconds of it.
We literally we got food last night and we sat down. We were like, oh, we'll just stick something on, and then because it was promoted or whatever on Netflix, I read like the little blurb, and it was really funny because it was like. Story of two kids or whatever, and then it was like puberty's coming and it's a fucking beast or whatever.
Filthy beast.
That's what it was. And then so you actually meet the beast who's like, go on, go to the bathroom, masturbate. it's really funny. Like.
When I saw the trailer for it, because that's all I had seen.
Yeah.
In the trailer there's this scene where she holds a mirror down below and looks in it and sees the reflection of her lady parts, and she's like talking to her. She's like, you're not so scary, you're pretty nice. and then it just like cuts to like the Netflix logo, and then when it comes back from the Netflix logo, it's the two male kind of characters in it or whatever, and they're like sitting there and they're like, did we actually go there on like a Netflix show? Did we actually go there like with the mirror shot?
It's actually Jordan Peele is
he was one of the
voices. But yeah, we watched the first episode last night, and it was I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun.
I'm looking forward to checking it out because I walked in as well during it on the shoot, and I was like, this looks intriguing. I need to check this out.
Yeah, because if I couldn't watch it in like 2-minute spots either, then it would just ruin it.
Filthy.
It was
it looks
really, like
from the trailer.
I've now other than Rick and Morty seen another animated penis, so there's that.
Yay! Animated penis.
It's funny because that was actually what I wanted to talk about, but like I said, I couldn't remember the actual name of the show.
It's funny you bring up animated penises. Actually, it's not necessarily animated penises, but I found out yesterday. This is not my topic thing or anything, but I just found out yesterday that there was a version of the Little Mermaid's box art that was banned. Because a disgruntled Disney employee, when he drew the towers rising up behind them in the image, he drew one as a giant penis. And somebody on Facebook yesterday was like, does anybody have a copy of The Little Mermaid with the banned VHS art? Because it's worth like 300,000 on like eBay now. And I was like, what could have been done on the Little Mermaid box to get it banned? Like... And then I found out, I was like, this is amazing.
There was actually another Netflix show that was just pulled for the same thing. It was a thing about bugs, and one of the animators drew a dick in the background. It was a thing about insects or something like that. I can't remember the name of the show. But there's a scene where these two bugs are talking, and in the background is like a log, one of the circle logs. And in the log is just, like, it's not even hidden. It's just like a graffiti dick. And I was like...
American Vandal.
I cannot wait to watch that show. Yeah.
I saw somebody complaining about it going like, I don't have time for watching a fake documentary. I was like, the idea of mockumentary
have you not seen Spinal Tap?
Or The Office or any of those like mockumentaries.
Yeah. I remember when I seen...
the whole subgenre like.
Yeah, when I seen that trailer, I was like... They promised it as like an 8-episode series. I was like, if it's not 8 episodes, I'm going to be so disappointed.
I thought it was just a Funny or Die sketch.
Me too.
I saw it and I was like, that's hilarious. I was like, I would love to see a show of that, but I think it's just a Funny or Die, like 3-minute, 5-minute sketch or whatever. And then I couldn't believe when I saw it actually come to Netflix. I was like, oh my God.
I love it.
My topic this week, you've heard me going on and on about it and stuff.
God.
Yeah, I know, you're all fucking sick, but I don't care. I bought Holliston season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray from the US, and then had to get your Blu-ray drive so I could actually watch them. But yeah, I in love with it because it's so relatable for me. I think for anyone, that's why I really want to sit down and watch it with you guys, just because there's so many relatable moments as an indie filmmaker where you're like, yes, been through that. But it's just funny anyway. Like one of the guys in this is like Dee Snider from Twister Sister, and he's playing like a kind of a parody of himself. He's playing a character called Lance Rocket.
I think from just the brief bits that you've shown me, everybody seems to play a parody of themselves.
Yeah, that's it. Like even moving on to season 2 now, Kane Hodder's come into it, and he is unbelievable. He's so funny. Like It's just every time anyone says Freddy versus Jason, he just starts like crying and smashing glasses over his head. Just like it's
Oh my
majestic.
God.
Sidebar: can we start getting sugar glass for films?
That would be cool.
I really want to.
I've made a note of that for the one that I want to do in the new
Yeah.
year. Yeah, I was like, sugar glass was written in a big on the page beside the rest of it.
Yeah, making it the only difficulty with making it's easy. The difficulty is having something big enough if you're depending on the size of stuff you want to do with it.
Yeah.
is what I found in the past. Because that time, one of the other Badgers, Brian Regan, was on about a scene with a car window, and I was like, you realise you have to make a that's not like
Yeah, that's not an easy.
that
one.
easy, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem with making it yourself, from what I've seen online, is if you're making like a beer bottle, you have to make it either around or in a beer bottle, and then to get it out of the beer bottle, you have to break the beer bottle without breaking the sugar glass, which is very difficult. Like panes of glass seem to be pretty easy as long as you have a container big enough to put them in.
That's the main thing I've seen is that because if you wanted something the size of this table, for example, it's actually quite difficult to get a freezer or a whatever you're using to big enough to put that into to set, and also even a container that size is tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to use it more. It's just yet again.
Because like I don't know what film.
Support us on Patreon.
I don't know
Every
what
time.
I don't know what film yet, but at some stage I want to throw Tubbs to a window. Like
Oh yeah.
But we need sugar. He's an ex-trained professional wrestler.
no,
He's an ex-trained backyard wrestler.
trained
Trained?
is still
He's
wrong.
an ex-backyard wrestler.
There you go.
We can throw him through a glass.
The one bit of training he
Fine.
went to,
God.
he like slipped a disc in his back or something.
Oh yeah, shit. The only time he
Yeah.
actually got training, he fucked himself
Oh
up.
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my little sidebar. I like sugar glass.
But that's I mean I've been enjoying the crap out of holiday, and especially after coming off a shoot this weekend, I was like, oh, I want to chill out and watch something, and then I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll watch something about struggling indie filmmakers. Yay! But it's cathartic as all hell, because you're like, it's so hard to be an indie filmmaker. Yay!
Celebrate together.
Yeah. So that's kind of the topic section out of the way. We'd hope to have some user questions for you guys, but yet again, with all the stuff going on at the weekend, didn't actually get a thing out.
Oh, God.
We're hoping to start that from. I can ask you fake user questions if you want.
No, it's fine.
At real Donald Trump asks on Twitter.
But yeah, we have a couple of questions anyway for you guys.
Oh no.
Yeah, questions. Question time, yo.
We have questions, or we're going to make questions?
Both. I mean, the first one, I'm going to start with Aaron.
Okay.
How and why did you get into all of this?
Into film.
Yeah, I guess.
Completely by accident. Completely. So after secondary school, I wanted to not go to college.
Been
Just
there.
didn't want to, because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm not going to just go in and do a business course. I don't just want to do that. And then my parents were like, no, you have to go at least try something. So I just went through like this catalogue of all the courses you could find. And I was like, it's like video and sound. And I was talking to someone about it. Or I think Connor Hayes had done it the year before me. And he had said it was about film and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, I like films. I had no intention of making a movie ever in my life. And went in and just from that day then started doing stuff, and then started really getting into it, because I didn't really understand how they were made. Before that, it was just kind of like, oh, it's a movie. It's the typical thing that people are like, you should just get a few people, you turn on the camera and you make a film. It was like, I had that attitude before I went in, and then learned that is not how that works at all. And it's only steadily gotten more difficult. But yeah, no, that was kind of my first introduction to it. And then was halfway through college, then worked with yourself. And
downhill from there.
yeah, then it's just like I was on a steady downhill slope, and then I met you and I just fell off a cliff, and I've been free falling since.
It's all free fall together.
Cause
Yeah,
I'm
no.
free.
I was gonna do it, but I was like, can I sing songs?
As long as it's less than, what is it?
15 seconds.
15 seconds, yeah.
Free falling.
Hashtag copyright friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then we kind of working together since, and we started Celtic Badger through the don'ts and stuff, and then we all got to know each other, and that's kind of
Yeah.
why I don't know why I did it though. That's the how. I don't know what the why is.
And why do you continue to do it?
I don't know.
That better be done, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
I
we want to make
enjoy,
cool shit with cool people.
Yeah.
and I love the thrill of having very little money.
Oh, it's great, right?
Oh, am I gonna eat this week?
We'll see.
Oh, this is crazy shit. Yeah, no, that's kind of me.
No, it's cool, yeah. To have no money. And Vachn. I mean, this is kind of twofold for you, I guess.
Oh no. Okay.
Because, like,
Twofold.
We want your life story summarised in a neat 2 to 3 minute package.
Oh, boy.
I'll allow 8 because she's like a business owner and she's been involved in the film stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, she gets quadruple time for that.
Oh
Yeah.
God. I'm important. Look at me.
How do I cut her mic?
She's a potential investor.
She's an investor. She's a patron.
She is a patron, exactly.
You love me better than most people.
It's so true.
Also, the only time I ever feel like a third wheel is when these two are together. Paddy and Barry have a strange
Romance.
symbiotic.
You want to clarify
Yeah.
why it's a third wheel? Go on, say it on the internet.
I'm going out with that idiot over there.
Fucking yes! I told you, internet. I do have a girlfriend.
Can we cut cameras?
Yeah.
Which
so, yeah.
is, incidentally, how I ended up helping out with,
all manner of filmy things.
filmy things and and putting bullet wounds in people on in the Sally Gap in a car.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I could have sworn you just said soggy gap.
Sally Gap.
Sally
yeah. It was
Sally
pretty
Gap,
soggy on the
okay.
day, so I couldn't
It
pass
was.
for
It was
both.
fucking snowing. It was
Yeah.
supposed
That
to
on Blue Dawn.
be Blue Dawn. It was supposed to be our Afghan location. It was fucking snowing. I was like, lads, you're not gonna.
It snows in Afghanistan.
That was his logic. I'm like, yeah, but nobody's gonna immediately see snow and think that's Afghanistan.
And doing
And you've
weird.
done a bunch of stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
you were Health and Wellness Badger
Chains
on
and-
Framed.
Yeah.
You helped out quite a lot on no, not Framed. Health and Wellness Badger on Legacy Point. You helped out a lot on Framed as well.
Yeah.
Obviously on Banshee you played a big part in.
Doing makeups and stuff.
All kinds of makeup you got, and same with intervention. So yeah, you've been involved in quite, and then with the Don'ts, you've come on board as an associate producer.
That was weird.
Say potential investor.
I'm working on it.
And then, but
Yeah.
that's what you've been doing with Badgerdom.
Yes.
Knights of Badgerdom.
Knights of Badgerdom.
And like
Spin-off.
I had to get involved eventually because you were staying together and we couldn't figure out who was the big spoon and who was the small spoon, you know.
We like to
So
alternate.
You'd be
yeah.
surprised, yeah.
So I had to meet them just to make sure that, you know,
He wasn't
he was
picking up
looked
any
after.
infections.
Yeah,
Vachn knows I can't take care of myself.
it's true.
I've got a scurvy coming. But yeah, so that's, as I say, the filmy
That's
things.
the filmy
All the
things,
filmy
yeah.
boys. And you were involved in a really funny episode of Someone and Someone that you were very
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
blonde bitch.
Hair to here,
I
tits
did
out
not
to here.
realize there was that much bitchy in me to like raring to get out.
Just you gave it a funnel and it broke the funnel, the top flew off. It just came gushing out.
Yeah.
Blonde bitch.
That bitch gets me every day. It's got a news.
Bitch.
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 Love it. That was one of my favourite episodes, I think, in season 1. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It's a lot of fun. It was.
Completely by accident as well.
Yeah, it was a timing thing.
Yeah.
There was something else that was supposed to be happening that didn't work out. So we were like, okay, well, we have an hour. Let's.
Think of Someone and Someone.
Yeah. So it was funny because that was based on a girl at work who who came up to me during work and told me she was super mad at me. And I was like, why? And she was like, because in my dream last night you cheated on Vachn with some blonde girl. And I was like, but I didn't though. She was like, I fucking saw it.
I need to find this because I actually still have the message that I got randomly in the middle of work.
She refused to talk to me at work until she saw proof that I had text Vachn to apologise.
What?
Yeah, this is all legit. This is where the whole thing came from.
Oh, wow.
There is proof.
This sounds like the other story you told me about the girl that wouldn't believe that your name was,
Oh yeah, she
was
would.
really Barry.
She wouldn't believe that my name was really Barry. She thought it was short for something, or that I was hiding it because it was embarrassing. And I was
What?
like, no, it was like, but on my birth cert it's Barry. And she was like, no, but Barry's not a real name. She was
Where
like,
is she from?
She's like Mayo or somewhere. But she was
What?
like, yeah, she was convinced. She was like, Barry is a surname, but it's not like a first name. So it's either short for like Bartholomew or.
Did you ask her, did she read Anne and Barry when she was a kid? Because that would have solved it.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was called Barry.
She just flat out refused to believe that Barry was my real name, and she thought it was something really embarrassing, and that I was just saying that it was Barry. And like, if I was to pick my name, I would have picked something more elaborate, like Ezekiel or.
Imagine your fucking name was Ezekiel.
Man.
I would love that.
We just call him Zeke for short.
Oh, I would love that so much.
You know what's so funny? I'll bring it in next week as my random thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to make a note.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Crazy. We haven't had any foreshadowing yet. So yeah, and then outside of the filmy stuff.
Outside of the filmy stuff,
Oh no. Continue.
oh no! Now I actually want to know what you're. But it
I was
might
just
be
going to say,
dangerous.
outside of the filmy stuff, my experiences with you have been lying on a table, almost fully naked, having you rub me.
Me too!
And beat me up, actually, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Battered the shit out of me.
I
Me
did.
too.
It was, and look,
Worked. I did beat you up. I did beat you up in public at one point. Outside Inglot in the Crescent.
so funny. That was
Oh shit, I
amazing.
forgot about that.
The noises that were coming
Oh
out.
my god, that was hysterical.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely
That time
hysterical.
in Galway where we were introducing you to some of the students that I worked with at Pulse. And we just wouldn't tell them what you actually did. We just
Yeah.
dropped those little allusions to what it
Weird
was.
little hints. Yeah.
And then, what do you do? That was fun.
It was even like, what was it, like a year and a half or so later at the Dunce.
At the yeah,
like the test screening,
screening.
he came up into Vachn and was like, I still don't know what you do.
Amazing, poor Kieran, yeah.
That was pretty
He was
funny.
obsessed about it.
Oh,
But,
it makes me so happy.
Yeah, so, and then you have a business where you
Beat people up for a
Yeah.
living, and then they pay me, and they come back eventually, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
MMA?
That's what it was.
I did have a client this week, Tuesday, ask me why I hadn't been arrested for assault yet. And I told him it was because I beat up most of the guards locally, so I should be all right for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to know you can keep the shit out of the Gardaí.
yeah, get away with it. What's it?
Yeah, so I see a lot of people in the nip a lot. Yeah.
Me too, but I don't get paid for it.
There was a point where you were
You've
talking
seen
about
more
how many
than
of the
me.
badgers had I seen naked, and I was like, nope, I've seen more.
Oh yeah, what was that? When
We were on the live stream or something.
Oh yeah, we were on the live stream. It was like
Actually seen most of the...
no, she was like what was it?
You've only seen
yeah,
two.
she was when she backed us, it was something along the lines of like, yay, she's a supporter and she sees me naked, and it's like, and I'm the only badger she's seen naked, and
I was like, nope.
nope. Oh well.
Oh, I do remember that experience. It was amazing though. Not being naked and being rubbed by that, but because I literally couldn't move my arm
Yeah.
or neck or anything going in there.
Okay, yeah.
And coming out, I was like, I feel 30 times worse than I did going in. Like, legitimately, I was coming out going like, oh my god, she broke me. She bitch broke me. And then I came out and like literally drove home like this. Got back and like went to bed like this and woke up in the morning and I was like, okay, a bit bruised, a bit like feeling, but fuck, like I've got this much more. Like I wasn't able to do this, and then I was able to do this, and then like the next week I was able to do this, and I was like, it's the little things you take for granted,
Being
like
able
being
to
able to
move.
raise your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That is kind of the nicest thing about work. Okay, to elaborate,
You haven't actually said the actual title of what you do yet, so people are like, what?
I own a holistic centre and a beauty salon. So it's a bit
I was
different.
there for the beauty salon
Yeah.
Me too.
Them brows though.
Yeah.
Back second the crowd.
Anne Fleek, look at these. I don't even know what Anne Fleek means, but they are.
No, they're horrible.
You did get rid of that one massive one that was
Oh
like
my
coming
God.
straight out.
You've no idea how like I needed to get rid of that thing.
It's interesting because I had never even noticed it.
Yeah.
And then I went in to get my hair cut
It's
last
above
week.
your eyes, so.
I went in to get my hair cut last week, and the lady cutting my hair went like, "Oh, do you want me to get rid of that giant eyebrow hair that's sticking out?" And I went like, "What?" And then Kathy was sitting on the couch, and Kathy went, "Yes, please." And I was like, "What's happening?" And then she just like put the thing down, and I was like, What was there? Why did nobody tell me about this? What?
But it was like this. I'm surprised it wasn't in your field of view, like because it was like this.
But that was when I found out about it, and I was like, great.
God no. Yeah.
You should have just been like one day just talking to me, just been like.
Okay, I will. If
Yeah,
it ever
if it ever
does bug
happens
me,
in future.
I will. I will. I'm just like, okay, you need this, Paddy. Yeah.
This is for the greater good.
Sorry, I took you off topic there. You were
No,
you
no.
were in
Yes.
holistics.
Holistic centre and a beauty salon. But I've been a holistic therapist for about, terrifyingly enough, about 15 years. I'm old, lads.
No, we're the same age, aren't we?
We are actually, yeah.
Because that was one of the first
Yeah.
things when I kind of first met Vachn really on the Irish shoots.
Yeah.
Early on, like when we were first starting to work together, we had that big discussion about the age. And we were like,
Yeah.
we're like really close in
Yeah.
age. Yeah, it was fun. And then found out you're child napping this poor lad.
Yeah, I'm a cougar.
I can't call you cougar anymore because we're in the same decade now. But when I was
Finally.
in my 20s and you were in your 30s, it was.
Shh.
You said the T word.
I was 28 for a decade. Nobody noticed. I swear to God, nobody noticed. It was fantastic.
Oh, glory.
Before I had the holistic centre, I was teaching,
Yeah.
like reflexology and teaching natural medicine stuff, and like anatomy and physiology on a couple of courses for reflexology and that sort of thing. And I went in and I was legitimately the youngest person in the room when I went into my first teaching job, and I dressed older. And even Barry will tell you, I look pretty much the same now as I did back in like
a time
college
machine.
time.
It's ridiculous. It's like, I mean, I've gotten old, droopy, fatter.
No.
She looks immaculate. Like, I don't know what it is that she's doing. It's up from her goth days.
You're
Dude,
gonna pay for that, bro.
revenge is coming.
She beats people up.
I'm aware.
So-
So you're kind of like John Wick.
Yeah.
That's what we've
Yeah.
established.
With a bow and arrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Lara Wick.
Lara.
Lara Wick.
Okay, Lara Wick.
I do appreciate
Yeah.
that, yes.
Yeah, see?
Thanks.
Welcome.
Katniss Wick.
No, fuck
She was
her.
a boy,
No.
Yeah.
Not well.
So does Lara
Very
Croft.
poor
She's so
technique.
much
Only in the reboot.
No,
the original,
that
don't
Legolas
care.
lad, that was 10 times worse.
Which, the legless one?
Oh, Jesus. In archery, okay, so I may be an archery coach as well, used to be. I get bored a lot. I do weird shit. But I was there, and I was at the point where I was helping out with the coaching just after fucking Lord of the Rings came out. The amount
Oh, God.
of guys, and some girls too, thank God, who came out for the training session first. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Because people, there's
Oh,
probably just
no.
archery centres popping up everywhere. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was scary.
It was a dark
There was
time.
like hundreds of people, and they like no power, no strength, no arm muscles that had never been used for other than possibly one thing.
That was me.
Yeah,
I was like, archery's cool. I won't do that.
yeah.
I'd love to do that.
It's great crack.
We should do it.
It's very stress relieving,
for
actually.
we should have vlog someday where
Only stress relieving if you're good at it, though.
I know.
you'd be surprised.
I don't know,
We used
because
to
I find
put,
that like
like-
whenever people are like, "Oh, we should do this," it's a great stress reliever, and then you're like, "Fucking shit at this!" God damn it!
Oh, do you know what you should do? Fencing. Fencing is great crack.
Even if you're bad at it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what if you get killed? Or like, if you keep losing, is it not really frustrating?
That's
No,
what
no,
I
no.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
you do something where it's like, "This is a great stress reliever," and then you're like, "So fucking shit at this."
No,
You
no,
just come
no.
away.
See, there's a proviso there. There's 3 kinds of fencing. Okay, one is foil, the other is epi. Foil is the easiest, and the swords are really bendy, and you get like a little maybe bruise if you really go after somebody. And the target area is just the torso.
Okay.
Easiest to do. Then you got epi. It's a tri-blade, much stiffer blade. Yes, I said that. And that shit would bruise.
Stiff blades forever. Hashtag stiff blades forever.
But you can catch somebody on the tip of the pinky finger. That's a hit. And on anywhere,
Throwing
anywhere.
themselves to the floor.
The
I'm an
toe
accountant,
anywhere.
you know what happens to me?
Yeah. And if your ex is the coach and he doesn't wear a cup, it's very stress relieving. But then there's
But only if you can hit him. This is what I keep coming back to.
but there's also saber, right? You do not need
made from
that
tiger
much.
teeth.
Like,
Skill.
really don't. You really don't with skill.
Excellent. That sounds like much.
Because it's like an inch thick, like big curved
Sounds familiar.
blade. Yup.
Oh, it's like someone got to.
It's like we locked eyes. It's like we were daring each other to make the joke, and then Andrew jumped in.
So
You-
this
you-
inch thing.
I was going to go in the inch thick, but I was like, oh, more adjectives. Just keep bringing them on.
It's a saber.
Saber. You have to wear a reinforced helmet and shoulders in order to do this.
Oh, is that the one that looks like a diver suit then?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And you basically hold it up, one side, like one on each side of the piece, and you roar and charge at somebody and just go fucking go for them.
That's
That
good,
sounds like
yeah.
a stress reliever.
It is, yes.
What I want is one of those things like in the US,
Yeah.
the things that come around the breaking rooms, where you just go in and you smash
Oh,
it
yeah.
up.
Me and Aaron were like, we should do that as a business.
We should that, you
Legit.
Man,
It's
that
like-
would be amazing.
Contact every
someone-
like business and been like, any printers that don't work, it's like
was
we
just
will
gonna say,
take them
yeah,
right
like-
off you.
Yeah, like all
You
the
don't
stuff
have to
that
worry
people
about
don't-
recycling.
Yeah, like all that the EPKs or whatever, the
Yeah.
electronic.
If people came in and just stole them all.
But no, like it would be unreal just coming in and just because I've been watching those videos and I'm like, that's a waste. That looks like so much fun.
Yeah,
Smashing a fluorescent bulb,
yeah,
which is just something you're told to never ever do.
I've
You
done
see
it.
someone do it.
It's fun. Found some.
Oh, yeah.
I did hear a horrible story from a guy one time about like he decided that he would like put the fluorescent bulb down on the ground and rest his hand on it.
Oh,
Pushed too hard, and it basically like, went
Oh.
like back up. Like I
no.
was like, because he basically just went like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and like put it down and like. He's like, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, no, that
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all the
Yeah.
magical, painful, technical stuff that you do.
But yeah, I think all the stuff about fencing has been like probably the most informative thing that's been said on this podcast.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a quick look at the waveforms, and there was just silence on 3 tracks. It's like that's never happened
Yeah,
before.
we were actually taking it in. It wasn't like it wasn't Tubbs talking about himself.
No.
I'm joking. Love you, Tubbs.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I do.
we do.
I actually
He's
met with him
snugly.
yesterday. It was great crack.
No, it wasn't.
That's true.
Yes, that's all I wanted.
No, I'm lying. It's all good. So, next question. So you really need one of these as well, just so I do, because I was like going to ask you to ask it.
Ask what?
The next question.
I don't know what the next question is.
We
You
can
have
block.
it,
We can block our ears, and you can say it.
Yeah.
That's the second one down on the list of questions.
Do.
And my handwriting's so bad.
Wow. Did Piper write this?
No, Piper has way better handwriting than me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now,
Okay.
yeah.
It's so bad.
So, we usually talk about like set memories and stuff like that. So, one thing we always like to ask is, what is your best on-set memory from stuff we've done so far?
Oh God.
Now, they can be a couple of moments if you just want to talk about a couple of
Yeah.
moments.
I think so far nobody has had like one specific one. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna rattle off 3 or 4.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things, or like one of the things that we were kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, and then we were like, holy shit, was that crossbody in the Three Loans.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. That was
That was
amazing
where
moment.
Nathan just runs and jumps at
Oh,
me, John, and Adam. And I was like,
You got
was I feet or head of Nathan?
You were feet, I think.
No,
you
because John
you
got
were
hit
head.
in the face.
John got
Yeah.
kicked in the face.
So
yeah,
I was
that's
at the
right.
end of the line, and John was at the other end. So
Spoilers.
he got the legs, and Adam just had to like let Nathan kind of hit him and take it.
Yeah.
But every time I just had to kind of pretend to fall down because Nathan wouldn't even reach me, and I just be like, oh no. And then John was like, we've gotten hit in the head again.
We were like, you're a skateboarder, it's fine.
Yeah, I get used to it.
But then the other side of that part was we were filming that at night, and then a year and a half later when we came back to do reshoots, we were looking at it, we were like, ye fell down that. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
unsafe.
There was like rocks sticking out everywhere.
It was
Yeah.
that realization
It wasn't
of
that
how
smart.
dangerous it was.
Yeah. So-
Hashtag in production insurance.
I think that
mythical
was one of the
beast.
coolest one of the nicest payoff things that we did. I
Yeah.
think. And how did I think of that and lose it so quick?
And he kind of, like,
I literally had another thing. It was from the
fun
dance again.
things or...
But
funny.
what else have we shot?
Nah.
I'm trying to think of everything.
Not much. There's just so much.
I'm trying to think
that's
of
the problem.
everything.
It's
Actually,
there's-
one that came to my mind just because it was a lot of me and you interacting was the bike stuff on Retribution. When you were driving the car and I was hanging out
Oh,
the
yeah.
window. And
Also very safe.
yeah,
And
also very safe.
I was sitting in the back of the car with the monitor,
Yeah, and
probably the safest person in the car, and then my shawcross was to my left, and he just unbuckled his safety belt and climbed out the window, and I was like, oh god, what is happening?
we're going to lose Mike Shawcross on our first ever shoot
But
together.
it was like, I felt like, I was like, okay, I'm sure Barry's like figured this out and like whatever, you know, in my head I like to think that.
Okay.
But the thing was, because we had done the test run and stuff, but like with Shawcross he just...
There was no
Like,
second
no,
thought. It was just
and I was like, oh, what is he doing? I was like, wrap the safety belt around your leg or something, just like, please.
Yeah, because if he falls out, then his leg is stuck. It's just his face hitting off the ground.
That is a scene I want to put in a horror film. He's getting tired to bits. Yes.
But,
That's a death I haven't seen. I've seen a lot of horror films.
There's something like that in Deadpool, isn't there?
that just the Deadpool came into my head straight
Yeah, when
away.
he gets kicked out, he gets tied up in something. Or
Oh,
is
it's
he
the
holding
guy
on
who's
to the
flailing
back?
out of the
Yeah,
boot,
yeah.
and he's literally just been dragged along by the back of the
Yeah.
jeep.
But
isn't it?
that's feet down.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
we're talking about face down.
That
Yeah.
would be vicious.
Yeah, it would be pretty rough. Copyright.
But no,
No,
that was kind of cool. 'Cause I mean, I had to be kind of like, hey, what speed do you want to be going at to let PJ pass us out, and then
Yeah.
to catch back up to him and,
And
stuff. So
there was
cool.
a lot of like faster, slower. It's
Yeah.
like stay right there.
Keep that speed, okay.
Yeah, and that
And,
was
and then to try and make sure there was no cars coming that we
or
wouldn't get in the way
fucking
of.
speed bumps.
Then we had that one
Or
random.
guards.
Remember that one random person that followed behind us and was flashing us the whole time.
Yeah.
So we had to pull off the motorway.
We did
to-
figure out what that was.
PJ's
PJ's
brake light.
brake light wasn't working.
Yeah,
But at the time, we were like, "Oh fuck, we're
we're
busted."
fucked now. Yeah.
Yeah, but the funniest was when we came over the bridge by Bellissimo and there was like a car parked on the corner of the roundabout. We were like, oh shit! Like,
You would
Yeah.
you would literally just come in the
I
window.
literally-
literally
just like went,
was coming through. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
just went, guards. run it back in, and like, but then we drove up Henry Street with you filming out the window,
Right in
past
front
the
of the
car
station.
and nobody said anything.
That's
I think
fine.
we weren't doing anything
Cringe.
super
Cringe.
dodge, in fairness.
No,
Yeah.
there's just a camera out the window.
We didn't have PJ like cutting in around.
No.
cars,
It was yeah. Like we always tried to do it where we had 2 lanes, so
Yeah.
PJ could be in one and we could be in the other. It wasn't.
Speaking of all of this, actually, with Retribution and everything, something we missed out at the start of the show. I mean, Retribution's up for rent and buy now on realhouse.com and also on Amazon in the UK, Germany, Japan, and the US.
Woot woot.
And yeah, so if you're like, oh, this sounds cool, guy hanging out the window of a car, filming a guy in a motorbike, it's all in Retribution, which is 12 minutes 58 seconds.
Of glorious.
Amazing performances by all the cast, but a special shout out to Adam Moylan and Nick
Yeah.
Vince, who had amazing chemistry together.
Yeah, that was really cool. Actually, that was a really awesome moment up in the
Bunratty Castle.
in the actual
church.
That
Yeah.
was really cool. That was a really cool scene to just watch happen.
It was
Yeah.
kind of. I spoke to Noel about it on the shoot we just did last weekend. That it was legitimately a stage play.
Yeah, it played
Like-
out more like a play than
Yeah.
anything we've ever done, really.
Because when we realised we had to consolidate
35 shots into
under 3 hours.
under 3 hours.
You were like, I'll hop on Movi and go, and
Yeah.
we just film it like 5 times and hope that it all works out. And it fucking did.
Yeah.
We got amazing flow of the performance and stuff. It was, that would be one of my I'm stealing that. That's mine. No, there's so many more to pick from, but yeah.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was one actually. Like, the reason there's so many interesting cuts and transitions in that is because of the way I had to move to try and capture all the performance as it was happening. So
It was awesome though.
that was cool.
And
Me? Oh. Like that. It was like, it started off like this shit is going down, and then it turned out to look really amazing. I was fit to kill you on one of the Banshee moments because you were like, okay, so you remember how we had some chains coming out of somebody?
mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's not going to hold. That's not going to work. You're like, yeah, it will. And you walked off, and I'm like, well, boys, that's not going to work. So I had to sit down and completely rethink how the hell it was going to work. And Rob was the set designer, production designer.
Yeah.
He was such a sweetheart. And he like caught me sitting in a corner going, what the hell? And I ended up bouncing off a few ideas of how it could work with him. Just needed to talk it out. And he had little bits of everything in his little magic kind of box full of random bits. So he cut me down some, I don't even know what it was. It was some strange bit of
the metal like coping thing. Like it's like a sheet metal strip that you use for with different size holes in it for mounting stuff.
yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
That thing. And he cut down some so that we could file down some of the chain that was too heavy to be supported on its own. So we could just hook on the chain when we needed it for the shot.
For the shot, yeah.
And it could still look like it was anchored to somebody's skin and look pretty gnarly. And then when it was done, I was like, good God, I hope this works. And then it looked freaking badass.
It did, yeah.
It looked fucking awful.
Yeah.
But like in the best way.
Yeah.
You see, and this is where I go with my if you don't have it's the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs approach. If you don't be like, no, it'll work, then it won't work because nobody will try. People will go, no, it just won't. So you gotta fucking make it happen.
Yeah. There was one other really funny moment. I think you guys were struggling to figure out how to do a particular. I don't want to give away any.
We've never struggled on a set. Struggling indie filmmakers? Don't be ridiculous.
What was it? I was helping out on. No, it was for. No.
Legacy Point.
No.
Friend.
No.
Keep listening out, you can film she wasn't necessarily
See
bothering.
again,
Iris.
we did the on the feast chest, and
necessary
we did the necessary
Yeah.
evils. There we
Oh,
go.
yes.
Yeah.
We
And
have
I
to be
was
careful
around-
about what we say about these because these aren't ours.
Well, we're
There.
like the sperm donors on these. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I was helping out with a couple of effects with Becky and that on. Oh
you, Nick.
God.
Could
Yeah.
it be chiseled from God's sperm donors?
That's only Ryan Gosling. Only.
What?
Oh shit! I gotta get a bigger gun. Sorry. There's a back entrance in this place first.
Is
Climb out the window.
But yeah, so we do have to be
Yeah.
careful a little bit with Nick stuff, but it depends on what you're saying.
But it was on that set, and I was helping out with a few effects, and you were talking about another thing that you were working on, and you couldn't figure out how to do a particular effect on somebody's head.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
I know
"No,
what this one is.
no,
Oh,
dudes.
yeah.
I got this. We just got to pretend the back of Tubbs' head is a drag queen's eyebrows, and it'll totally work.
Oh,
And do
yes.
you know what?
Yeah.
Forever, the back of Tubbs' head is a drag queen's eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like whenever anybody says to me like that looks like a drag queen's eyebrows, I'll say that looks like the back of Tubbs' head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like that was kind of my, and then it worked out so
Oh, yeah,
well. I
absolutely.
was so happy with that.
that was one of my favourite
And
effects on that
It
shoot.
was the girls were so happy because it was so much fun sitting around on that set with Shauna and Becky and having the chats and having a mess and in the green room.
Yeah,
That
we
was
actually had a
amazing.
green
Yeah.
room on
Yeah.
that shoot. It's like, yeah, we were like, shit, Nick Vance is here, we need to set the green room.
And it had
set.
heat. There was heat
There was
on a
actually-
set. It
Oh
was
my
amazing.
It was genuinely, I know it
Heat
sounds
and
weird.
food.
It was, yeah, it was
Oh my
amazing food.
god.
It was great, actually.
It was genuinely, I think, one of our most like
Yeah.
Well run.
professional.
I love
ones.
Steph because she
Fucking-
always snuck me cookies.
Steph
Yeah.
was amazing.
She's always. I mean, if on any film where I'd have the budget, I'd always have Steph as caterer. And
Yeah.
like this weekend, we didn't.
Yeah.
But it was a skeleton crew this weekend.
Yeah. It was
I only
pretty
realised in the aftermath that I was like, holy crap, there's such limited.
Oh, damn. Who ain't professional?
Fuck you, I said everything else. I didn't forget to turn my phone on silent. See all these cameras, see all these microphones.
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 Sorry.
Yes. It didn't realise till after the shoot this weekend. I was like when I was doing my tag post, you know, I was like,
Only 12?
yeah, that's it. Like, because we've gotten so used to on some of the last few shoots being like, okay, there's a. That's where I'd stopped doing tag posts because I was like, I'm not tagging 40 people in this, fuck that. Whereas, yeah, on this I was like, 12 people? I can tag that many. That's okay.
Yeah.
So going in hand sometimes, or sometimes on the back of that hand, we talk about our good moments. We also talk about shitty moments or stuff that didn't go to plan.
Would.
So anyone want to talk about one of those?
I have one that was...
Unlike Tubbs, keep away from spoilers if at all possible.
Yeah, no. It was
That's
just...
why the other episode's delayed. Judging you, Tubbs. Judging you.
Yeah,
You're not even a Patreon. What are you doing, Tubbs?
This is thrilling for our audio podcast listeners. Paddy threatening a camera.
They've suffered through it.
But the one I was thinking of was, again, on the Three Don'ts. It was on the weekends where we were still filming the original half hour. And it was me... I think it was us and Marie Hourigan. We're trying to set up this big tarp.
That was one of the ones that I
Really?
picked on the first podcast.
Oh
yeah.
man, that was ridiculous.
But I'd like to hear it from your
actually,
perspective.
So we were trying to set up this big, obviously because it was raining.
Pissing
It was
down.
pissing down. We're like, okay, we have to shoot. So we had like this big tarp thing that was really poorly made. When you think about it,
It was the worst
It
idea
was
we've
shocking.
ever had for like. And we
there
were
was-
like so convinced.
there was no
This-
thought. It wasn't like, oh, we just like tried to cover this bit of area. There was no shape to it. It was just random trees that were close enough. Obviously, the audio was going to be terrible because
wires from that
yeah,
thing were
and
going like
but they were like head and neck height as well.
in the dark woods.
Yeah, you couldn't see a thing. And not only did we not think of that, obviously the audio would have been unusable because it would have been rain hitting a tarp. But also, it would have just filled with water. The tarp would have just filled until it eventually couldn't hold it anymore.
Yeah.
And one part of it would have ripped, and someone would have got soaked, or a camera would have got soaked,
Yeah.
or something.
Oh no.
Yeah,
What a dumb idea.
yeah, mine was literally the same. Like,
That's
bad
ridiculous.
experience. But at the same time, it was also a lot of fun
Oh, it was.
when we got the tarp up and we were all singing and talking shit.
That's, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember looking through BTS clips and I'm like, that is like one of the most miserable nights of the shoot because we ended up having to not do it at all. But if you watch the BTS clips, we're under a tarp, you and Luke are like pretending that you're going to shift, people are singing, it's like ridiculous.
What?
There was like you and Luke are beside each other. I think it was like the first time you and Luke had ever even met. No, but well, you met and ensnared, obviously.
Yeah.
So. But on the don'ts, Luke had helped out that night. It was the one night in the original shoot that he helped out. And you and him, there's like a clip when I watch back through all the BTS video clips where you're just like, we could just like shift here in the woods, blah, 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 and all this. Like spoofing.
Okay, I need to go through that.
Well, maybe it wasn't spoofing, but yeah, like, and then you had like people singing sea shanties and fucking.
Oh, all the Assassin's Creed songs, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, they're so
So it
good.
was like, oh god, this night sucked balls, but everyone still kind of
Yeah.
made the most of it. And
Yeah, just made the most of the bad situation, had a bit of
Yeah.
fun.
exactly, because we were saying that like with the first act, like the first short, that there were so many nights of like, okay guys, we gotta fucking call it, you know, we gotta go. But even with that, even those at their worst were not like the worst thing
Yeah.
ever.
Your turn.
Fucking pork belly, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Again.
Smell.
Oh, you weren't there when we opened that box.
I will tell you that I was there when I came in the next day and the box was still inside. Like I came in on the Monday into the place and I picked the box up and I was like, what's in this again? And I opened it and went,
Oh.
it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark. I could just feel my head about to start melting. Like,
Oh my god.
because it had been sitting for a night then as well after shoot.
Uh,
I wanted to vomit everywhere. But yeah, so I can empathise with that one massively.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I didn't have to do anything with it though. Bart fucking bin.
I
So.
had to touch it. It had a nipple. It did. And it was really gross. It looked great on,
Yeah.
yeah. But I burned that makeup brush, man.
Why?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
That's fair.
But like me and Becky in the bathroom trying to like rinse off.
Because it was like, what did Steph inadvertently vinegar or something to keep
But
it fresh
it,
overnight?
yeah, but it
Oh,
kind of
no.
had,
Just
it
put
was
it in with like blood to soak in the
It
blood or
was-
something like that.
Hershey's chocolate sauce, which is sickly sweet, red and
Food coloring.
colouring, vinegar and water, and pork belly.
That wasn't a game.
And it was just when we opened that box, we were we were gagging.
On the shoot this weekend, we had like a situation where a lot of gunk went onto one of the pieces in the short.
Yeah.
And like, what's interesting is some people were like, I quite like the smell of that, and then
I
other
thought it smelled amazing.
and then other people like the actress
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna fucking puke. Like, I can't
Yeah, she
handle
was like,
this.
"Can you
It's
get that away
burning
from me?"
my
It's like, it
eyes.
fucking
Like,
smells atrocious.
it's just
I
it's
love
purely,
that.
but it's like the Hershey's thing because so many
Yeah.
people. Adam will sit there and literally just like fucking eat
Spooning the blood into his mouth.
like you just eat it, and then there's other people that are like it touches. They're like, oh, you get sick. I can't. Connor Hayes despised it. Couldn't. You know, it's
I think it's like because we'd be mixing it up in makeup and just the smell ongoing.
Yeah.
It's just when it's like that feeling when you're cooking for like 2 hours and then you're just not fucking hungry anymore.
well.
You just
I
can't
did
take
say
it.
on the BTS for the shoot as well, though, like last weekend, that I never had any issue with the blood stuff, like with the Hershey's. I would be like, yeah, it's grand. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then we did the shoot in the don'ts. No spoilers. But I will say that basically I had to have it put in my nostrils.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And after that, I now get repulsed when I think about the fake blood because it ran down the back of my throat.
I'm so glad that I'm behind camera.
Oh.
So glad.
And even when I see that clip now in the film, I'm like, it's like
It was
like
flashback.
a PTSD flashback. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm joking. I can't handle this. Blood stills.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, the worst memories are also the best memories.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
still
can't laugh
memories.
about them-
They're definitely the best.
There's still memories.
Oh yeah, I always like asking this. This is always fun because everybody's always like, "Oh, you can't answer that." I love it, which is just, and like you don't have to come up with an answer straight away. And we might move on to something else and stuff. But yeah, like it doesn't have to be your favorite movie. It's basically a movie that really affected you. So
Yeah.
like,
And it can be something that you saw recently, or it can be something.
because that was great when I asked you. And I was like, oh, I know yours. You say it and everything. It's always Jurassic Park. You were like, I'm going to say something different to fuck you up.
Yeah. But then we had a really good discussion about it.
Yeah, exactly. But then likewise, when it came to me, I went...
If you want to know what we're talking about, watch the first podcast.
Yeah, go to the first episode. But
Video
like that,
podcast out soon.
But like that, I went to something fairly recent as well then. Because I was like, actually, taking a leaf from your fucking book, I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, so... But it can be, like, your favourite film from growing up, or...
I think, was it around 2008? 2007 when The Dark Knight Rises? Oh no, just The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, yeah. That
Came
was
out.
2000... Yeah, because
Was it-
Batman Begins
was it
was
earlier?
2006.
Yeah, so it would have been 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that I was like, oh fuck me, this is a film.
Yeah.
That film hit me in places that films hadn't hit me. So I was just mesmerised by the whole thing.
Yeah, it is, but like that one is the one of that trilogy, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know, like, you have memories of going to the cinema seeing movies where you're just like, oh,
That's like
going
back to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
that's a massive one for me.
Yeah.
When I just saw that and I watched, because I was just absolutely blown away by the whole thing.
Can I ask you then though? Were you doing film at that time? Like were you in college? Going to college?
No, I wouldn't have been.
this was- yeah.
Yeah.
So, but weird question. Did you like get the Blu-ray or DVD and like watch like the commentaries or the?
Well, yeah, I think
features?
the last time I watched through that was like sometime last year.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just something I find interesting because like I found that lately, especially more than, and it's harder because I have less time. But I found that lately, if I really enjoy a film, I'll be like, I gotta watch like the commentary or I gotta watch the special features.
I loved doing that though, even before I thought I like wanted to make films. If someone had a DVD, I'd always be like, "Is there like extra bonus features in this?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I?"
That was the reason
Yeah.
that I bought DVDs, was
Yeah,
for the
same.
bonus features.
Yeah.
And it's like even still, I know Call to Chucky is out this week on Netflix. It's out tomorrow on Netflix, and I'm like, oh, Call to Chucky's out on Netflix, and I'm like, but I want the Blu-ray because that is bonus. I'm not going to get a commentary on fucking Netflix. I'm not going to,
Yeah.
So I know that I want the physical media version of that.
Yeah.
Even apparently, I know that some, like I think iTunes sometimes do digital downloads of special features.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I want the physical. I want the box.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot in recent years. I've moved away from physical media stuff because when I had to move abroad and had to sell everything, it broke me emotionally. But I'm slowly reverting now because I'm trying to support people.
Yeah, of course.
Like other kind of up and coming people, I guess. Like not massive studio films and stuff. It's nice to know your money's going right into like a filmmaker's pocket.
Yeah.
That being said, I did buy Deadpool on iTunes with the special edition bonus features, and then bought it on DVD as well.
But I did that with exact same thing with Only Revolutions by Biffy Clyro. I bought the deluxe version
So,
on iTunes, and then I think it released like 3 days earlier on iTunes.
but the Only Revolutions had bonus tracks that were only on iTunes.
Yeah.
And then the
Bonus
deluxe,
tracks.
the CD only had bonus tracks that were only on the CD
Oh, that's
as
so
well.
smart.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you clever
That's so
bastard.
smart.
I bought both.
Yeah, I
was
did
like-
too. Actually, their last album, I bought the massive.
Ellipsis?
No, sorry, the one before that.
Opposites.
Opposites. Yeah, I bought the massive vinyls
Oh,
and
nice.
Oh, nice.
full signed
Oh.
package, and it came with guitar tabs and lyric
Yeah, it
book
was
and the whole
fantastic.
Oh,
thing.
man.
It was such a cool package.
I saw. What did I see? That there was a vinyl released. Somebody I know put up a picture. Actually, it was Joe Lynch who did Mayhem, which I know I'm mad for you to see. As
Yeah,
well.
I really want to see it after seeing the trailer.
Yeah, but he showed on his Instagram. He put up a picture of the vinyl, and it's one of those. They're so cool. Do you know the vinyls with the blood, like they're clear. And when
Oh,
you've moved up
yeah.
the blood,
Oh,
so
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's so wicked. I want that. And the soundtrack was amazing. So I was like, how much of those vinyls?
Yeah.
Yet again about supporting artists.
I-
I'll do it for cool shit.
I went through a phase of that actually, of like buying vinyls, not like in a hipster way because vinyl sounds better. It was like I was buying vinyls that were like really well done.
Yeah.
Because the Biffy Clyro ones were like, it was just because it was in a cool package and it happened to come with vinyls. But I bought like a band in America called the Dolly Rots. They brought out vinyls for their last couple of albums, and each one was different. Like one was completely clear, one was like pink, and then I bought one, the Patent Pending Second Family one as well, because it had the album art and the lyrics printed on the actual vinyl.
I saw a really cool one recently as well that was like it was one of those ones that was like glow in the dark, but it was effectively like it only showed up like it just looked like a normal vinyl, and then you flick off shit and it looked like a solar system.
That's
very
so cool. And then once it starts moving, you're like, oh, this is trippy. Oh god.
I actually also bought a single for the first time in years. Was when I bought the Fight Stars Death Car single, because it was actually a vinyl with B-sides on the top of the CD, and then the CD was on the bottom.
Oh no way.
So like it actually played like a 33 LP vinyl on one side, and then the CD was on the other. I was like, that was so cool. I think it was like the world's first CD vinyl together.
Yeah.
I still have it at home. I was like, it's so fucking cool.
I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it's either Shawcross or John Lynch that's gone on a massive binge of like buying vinyls of movie scores and stuff. It's something where, yet again, I do think it's cool. I do think it's that, especially if yet again you're supporting like bands you really care about, you really care about and stuff. Then it's totally cool. If you're, as you say, if you're doing the kind of hipster way of just like, well, I have that on vinyl.
It sounds better on vinyl.
You know, it's like, suck it.
Yeah.
Send them to me, I'll beat them up for you.
Yeah.
We have our assassin.
I like that. Yeah, just fucking get them executed.
Yeah.
They come back going like, man, I feel great. Fuck, this didn't work out.
So, Vachn, what's your favourite movie or movie that has inspired you?
Oh,
Barbarella.
Footloose.
Oh dear God. I loved some really odd movies, like really old shit, like Logan's Run.
Oh yeah, Logan's Run is awesome.
Yeah, those kind of, like, my dad was a mad
kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, dad was a mad sci-fi fan, so it was like Lost in Space, and everybody in the family knew what the hell Soylent Green was at a very young age.
Spoilers.
I'm sure it's like what, 40 years old?
No.
It's a movie.
But, yeah.
Soylent Green is a movie.
But I loved those old school.
It just reminded me there of John Simpson's The Ooter episode. It's like, you could almost say we're eating Ooter. I may have said too much. It's fucking magnificent.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, so like that was
old school
sci-fi. Like Planet of the Apes would have been in that.
Yeah.
My dad always
Lost in
hated sci-fi,
Space,
so that was never a thing in our house. It was cowboy films.
There was one really, what is it called? It wasn't Lost in Space.
Lost in Space was amazing. Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger.
There was another one, and there was a robot like him in it, and there was like a scientist who was like off on this planet, and he's got a daughter. And then some little wee round spaceship comes down, and there's like
Flubber.
No, it's
The Life of Brian.
It sounds really familiar to me. I think it's like, is it like a futuristic version of Robinson Crusoe?
Yeah.
That's what I know in my head, but I can't think what it's called.
And it's got, there's a monster who's trying to, but it's invisible, and they don't know what the hell is going on, and it was, God damn it, that's gonna bug me now. But then
like,
more.
How do you even Google that though?
Monster that is invisible, but like. Have you ever done those Google searches? I need to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's like a fucking paragraph.
Yeah.
As you're going through it,
And then you're like, why the fuck can't Google give me what I'm looking for?
No, but even on top of that, have you ever done one where you're like, there's no way it'll find this, and you hit enter, and the top result, you're like, that is exactly what I'm looking for.
No, I can safely say that's never happened. Unless my English is catastrophic when I'm typing it into Google.
That's happened where I've been like, the film where your man goes to this place and he does this thing, and what happens is blah. and then it's like enter, and it's like, you mean this? And I was like, yeah.
Actually, I do.
More recently though, like Goonies.
Oh, I forgot about the
Legendary.
Goonies.
Hell yeah.
I got a Goonies t-shirt in my loot crate.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
good. Hashtag if you want to sponsor us, send me an email.
Loot crate, sponsor us, give us money. I mean, sorry, give us loot crate.
and our loot crates.
Give us loot crate. We don't care about money unless you're going to support us on Patreon.
We'll unbox it on the show.
Goonies is
Yeah.
one of the greatest of all time.
Legendary.
Oh,
If we don't hit the
one-
right notes, we'll all be flat. Yes.
Have any of you seen Lars and the Real Girl?
I've heard about it, but I haven't
No.
seen it.
No, it's like this. It's a Ryan Gosling film. You put on like loads of
Yeah.
weight in it, and he has like this weird like handlebar kind of mustache, and he's kind of really awkward. It's really cool, and his girlfriend is a blow-up doll because he doesn't know how to interact socially. It's a really
Holy
cool,
shit.
like
Yeah,
subtle
I've
movie.
seen the trailer for it,
It's
but I
so,
haven't seen
so
it yet.
good.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling's amazing though. That thing I sent you yesterday, the Saturday Night Live sketch about fans.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's so good.
I watched it and I was like, this is hitting me right in the feels. That's me, because you know the way I am about fans, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I can be very
Painful.
but I can be very harsh and very critical. And,
Yeah, no, that's grand though.
Yeah, but like in this, it's about the Avatar fan. He's like, it's just fucking papyrus. What? And so it's done like a David Fincher Gone Girl style.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's
Where he
so
like tracks down the person who
the graphic
designed it.
designer. He's like, does he even know? Does he even know that he just clicked a drop-down menu and picked papyrus? It's
I like when he's in therapy about it as well.
Oh no.
And they were
It's
like,
so-
well, you know, it did okay because they're making another one. It's like they're making
another one.
It's like, did they update the font?
It's like, yeah, it looks kind of the same. But it is amazing to think that Avatar, this like the biggest film in the world, like at the time that it came out, it like used the worst. Well, no, it was just one cut above Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the very end phrase is
Yeah.
just Comic
Papyrus
Sans.
written in
It's
Comic
papyrus written in Comic Sans. I was like,
That's so
you
good.
comedic genius.
SNL, when they nail it, they nail it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
really do.
But yeah, Gosling, but that's his range, and everyone else
Yeah.
always thinks he's really serious. They always go like, "Oh, he's so dry and stuff, and whatever." But then you see him do that spoof stuff. He's hilarious.
But this wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, sorry, you're
spoof,
talking about
yeah,
SNL.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
insinuating that, but like, even I don't find him dry. Like the place
Place
beyond the Pines.
I still haven't seen that.
I think that's friggin' unbelievably good. Like I've had debates with people about that because I know a lot of people who don't like the non-linear storytelling side of it
Yeah.
and stuff. I loved
Oh,
it.
I love a good non-linear story.
If it's done right, like
Yeah.
like Pulp Fiction is probably the most well-known or most kind of biggest mainstream success example of it.
Memento?
Yeah.
You love Legion.
Legion?
Yeah. Have you
The
seen it?
X-Men
No.
show?
Is that the is it
The
the show?
Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Funny. I've raved about it.
You've told me about it
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah.
You
Like,
would.
um,
It's
Plus,
like
it's got
the-
what's his name? That beautiful man in it. God, I love him so much. God,
Me?
no, but I love him too. Trying to think of the dude. He was in The Guest.
Henry
Dan
Cavill.
Stevens. He was in Beauty and the Beast as well. He's got
Is he
the
the Beast?
bluest
Yeah.
fucking eyes in the world, like hauntingly blue. Because like the cover of The Guest is just him pointing a gun,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
eyes are just like you're like they totally photoshopped his eyes to be more blue, and it's like no.
Did you see the Beauty and the Beast, the remake?
Yeah,
What do you think of it?
alright.
Yeah, it was alright.
What do you think? Of
Yeah.
it?
It was alright.
I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm not one of those girls.
One that I do want to see
It's really
is,
good.
is Swiss Army Man.
Oh,
I still
I-
haven't, yeah,
I
I'm
still
dying to
haven't
see that
seen
movie.
it. So, but I don't want to download it. I want to actually buy it because
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to support those guys because it just looked like such a batshit crazy.
Yeah.
film.
So I think I just want to get like a couple of £100 sometime soon, right? And be able to go onto like A24's website, the guys who put like were the distributor of that,
Yeah.
because they're distributing amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they distributed Green Room. They distributed Jeremy Sawnier's previous film. What was it, Blue Ruin? I think it is, because when you told me about Blue Dawn, I was like, I saw another film called Blue Dawn just recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my head, fully convinced. And I was like, Went back and I was like, oh, that was called Blue Ruin. Oh, okay. Similar. They both have the same amount of letters in the title. And they both have blue in the title. But yeah, that was amazing. If you haven't seen Blue Ruin, it's well worth to watch.
What did you say they were? A24?
A24 is the company. They did.
I know the logo.
Man. Yeah, and everyone they're kind of that film I'm going to see tonight, A Ghost Story by David Lowery. That's an A24 film as well. And there's this kind of thing going around about like, oh, they're hipster horror and they're hipster kind of like, because even the fan stuff is like very nostalgic, but like I think they're putting out badass stuff and they're kind of supporting these. They did, as far as I remember, I know that it was Amazon, but they did a version of Neon Demon.
Oh, okay.
And stuff because
maybe that's where I recognize the logo from.
Possibly, yeah. Because I know when it was like being distributed in Ireland, which means it came to the Lighthouse Cinema and nothing else. Well, no, it did cut that place in Galway, but I found out too late. If you remember correctly, you messaged me to let me know. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
That it was like Wildcard did the distribution here, but like you could, the A24 thing was on it.
Do you know what was really good that you bought that I hadn't heard of before you mentioned it? Was Monsters?
Oh, Monsters.
Yeah, that was a pretty mind-blowing
Gareth
one.
Evans.
Gareth Edwards.
Oh, I always do that, god damn it. Because Gareth Evans, is he the raid dude?
Yeah.
Always.
Gareth Edwards, yeah, Monsters. That was...
that was gorgeous.
Yeah, I bought that in digital download because actually the reason that I bought that, funnily enough, was I seen Adobe's advertisement for CS5 or CS6 it was at the time, and it was talking about how he shot the whole film guerrilla, put it all together, like shot stuff where he did like
all the VFX work.
Yeah, and he did all the VFX work in After Effects, and he did a lot of the 3D modeling and stuff like that himself. And I was like, fuck, I was like, that sounds really cool. And there was a lot of stuff where they had like the danger zone and stuff like that, and they had like photoshopped in signs and then tracked it in with After Effects. And I was like,
you couldn't tell.
I was like, I don't know what's
gorgeous.
It's like, I don't know who this guy is. I know nothing about this film, but just from watching that Adobe promo that he did it all in Adobe, I was like, fuck, I was like, I need to watch this. And I went and I bought a digital download. I actually bought a DVD as well.
Yeah.
I saw it somewhere.
We rented it. We rented it in Extravision at one point. And
and then I went back and bought the DVD.
We had to buy it.
2012, wasn't it? 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
And I was just blown away. I was like, that was one of those ones that kind of took me by surprise because I was intrigued to see it, and then I actually saw it and I was like, actually that was really well done. It was kind of similar to Arrival when we talked about that it was kind of like, it was all about this like monster movie, but it wasn't really about the monsters. It was about everything that was happening because of these monsters. And it was I thought it was really well done.
And I mean, it's why Gareth Edwards got picked up for Godzilla. Because he made a monster movie with a massively limited budget. And sometimes
I saw a great interview with him actually when he was talking about it, because he was like,
made a better monster movie.
Yeah, they were like, hey, you know, it's like, we saw you made a monster movie. It was like, we want to pitch this monster movie to you, and he's like, no, I'm kind of done with the monster movie. He was like, I don't think so. And then they were like, but it's the monster movie, and he was like, unless it's Godzilla or something, it's like, I'm probably not interested. And they were like, here's the script. And he's like, okay.
Well, it's one of those things where it can sometimes be dangerous for those guys though, because looking at him and looking at Josh Trank, you know, you make this cool indie film and they're like, oh, you're the next big thing, here you go, we're going to give you this massive property and you're going to have like, and then it's like everybody, before you've even started shooting as well, people are probably already hate you. That's the thing I was saying about Adam Wingard with Death Note. It was like he was getting death threats before they ever did any photography, and before they started writing it was just like, Adam Wingard will be helming the Death Note remake, and it was like, kill Adam Wingard. Jesus. It's like, Jesus. Well, he was like, at that point, as I said in the interview I heard with Adam Wingard, he was like, at that point I was like, I'm going to do something new with it, because like, even if I stick exactly to what it is, everyone's going to hate it anyway, because they've already made that decision. That's true. But him, very similar, him and Gareth Edwards are actually quite close apparently, because
Like friendship wise, or just like they live side by side, or
No, they live fairly far apart, but they are quite
Sorry, I
close
couldn't
friendship wise. Basically, he like Gareth Edwards did Godzilla, and now Wingard's doing. And then who did Kong Skull? We can never remember.
I don't know.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I
seen it.
Haven't
the
seen
name
it
will come
either.
back to me later when I'm not expecting it. But
If you haven't seen that yet, watch it. It's so much fun. It legitimately is. But yeah, and now Adam Wingard's doing Godzilla versus King Kong. So in 2019. And people are already like, he's ruined it.
Oh, Jesus.
It must be fun being Adam Wingard. Everybody's just deciding you've ruined something before you even approach it. Okay, it's time for random. No, wait. That was close.
you almost ruined it.
Oh, they know what we're doing, right?
Yeah, they're not going to join in though.
I'm fucking joining in.
So when we say what we're going to do, you join in with what we're saying.
So we're now moving on to our next segment called
Random
Things.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was close enough.
Did Tubbs say random objects last week?
Yeah. No, I said random objects the first week,
yeah.
but last week Tubbs said random objects. So we're all.
We've broken the cycle. It's not
Who's
going to
going
happen
first?
every week.
Oh, God.
I'll go first this week.
Ooh, Barry!
My random object is these bitchin' shades.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah. the reason I bought these is because there's a funny story about them.
I'm going to try them on.
Oh,
So-
it was with the funny story.
Oh, my
Because-
God. They're-
my dad is not.
There's like nobody, like...
Yeah,
Are they cows?
Are they
Is that what
cow
you just
colours?
said?
they're like a rip-off Ferrari logo.
Alright.
So the reason that I have that is it a Peugeot logo?
Could be.
Yeah.
It's more Pidgeot than it is, you know.
Pidgeot.
Pidgeot.
That's how Indian people say Peugeot.
What?
The Pidgeot.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Like,
By the way, for anybody who's just listening, I'm beige. Yeah.
She ain't white.
yeah, just before we start accusing her of any kind of racism,
yeah,
or
she's...
They're token foreigner.
you accuse Barry of racism, that's fine.
Yeah, she's also my token foreigner. So.
And he's
Now you can also
neon
accuse me of
white.
misogyny.
Like neon. Yeah.
But yeah, so the story behind the sunglasses is
Oh, no, I was getting comfy.
my dad is not good with technology. And he recently just changed jobs where he had to like change over his iPhone from like his old company iPhone to a new phone. And he thought he was doing the right thing by deleting all of his personal numbers from the phone before handing it back. But then when he tried to put it up, all the numbers that he had deleted were gone. So I had to go like basically restore his iPhone from a older backup where there was more contacts and stuff like that. And I eventually did it for him, but it was like it was a 2-hour process. And all along he kept coming over and he's like, do you want a hot chocolate? Or it's like, do you want like a sandwich or something?
A pair of sunglasses.
And that was what it came down to. And he was like, eventually he was like, here, I got these for you. And I was like, oh, thanks. He had like, it was some golf thing he was associated with that they got like 6 or 7 pairs. And he was like, oh, he's like, you know, you can have these. I was like, okay, Dad, I'll take them. I was like, thank you. It's like, I understand what you're doing.
They're like Tour de France glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're pretty
funky.
spectacular.
When you put those on, you take loads of drugs.
You next.
Me? I felt like I should take off my pants when you did that. You next.
You want the plot, don't you?
You next. You want to not be cut out of the podcast? Pants off.
This was your suggestion.
Yeah, you're all welcome.
We said it on the
actually,
first
that's
episode.
true. We did give you credit in the first episode.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the first
Yeah, I was just going to say, you obviously didn't listen to the first episode.
episode. Mine is this little Volkswagen camper van.
Oh, I seen that in your room.
Yeah, look at him. His wheels don't really work because he's very cheap. But see, they go like one rotation and then stop, and then they go one
Like a
rotation
real
and then
camper
stop.
van.
Yeah,
Like a real
it's
video
yeah,
game.
it's really realistic.
Actually, this is something I always wanted to ask you about. Yeah,
Okay.
I know you just have like this obsession with VW vans, and it's like, where did that come from? Because your handle on Instagram as well is
Used to be VW mustache.
yeah, but
yeah,
it's now Raren
yeah, because of
because of branding.
yeah.
Whoa, look at me.
But yeah, no, I just
I hate you.
because you also have like a
Fixed your
painting of a
wheels.
VW van.
Yeah, I've like a larger like collector's model that my dad got me one year for as Christmas as a present as well. Which is like this big fucker, like this size,
Yeah.
like this long. And I have small little keyring ones as well. I don't know. I love the aesthetic of them, and it's my like dream car to own and drive around and travel in.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll bring in this guy. Realistically, this was me waking up and going, fuck, random object.
That's what a random object is.
And then there was like 7 of those around my room, and I was like, yeah, that one.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
So when did the obsession start? Like, what was it that
I don't really
just kind
know.
of sparked it?
I can't remember. I think my dad must have shown it to me because my dad's a big car person. He loves, especially old vintage cars and stuff, because he would have grown up with all that era of all like
Vehicular transportation.
yeah when it first started, because he's like 102, and no, but you know, when cars started getting like fucking sexy and stuff, and cars were like,
Yeah.
ooh,
It
yeah,
was more than just like
it was a luxury,
yeah.
like, so he like loves all that stuff, and I saw then recently they're rebooting it.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
They
but
have that really weird electric one out now that looks, I'm so sorry, but it looks shit.
but I don't know. I think every time they try to do any reboots of those old cars, they lose
But-
what made them.
But they've done a reboot of this one now, and it's like this really weird front. It's meant to look, you know, all modern and shit, and I hate
But
that
that's what I
crap.
don't get it. If you're gonna reboot it, effectively just fucking.
Yeah, but then I think they must have
They don't want
got
new parts.
slammed. I think because they have another reboot coming in 2022, which I think is going to be more similar to the original
I
vans.
always say that though, because even with the Beetle one and stuff, like they don't look like an old Beetle. Like,
Yeah.
They don't,
No.
But
But I want the ones that I'm gonna have to like fucking change a tire every 2 miles or something.
yeah, like that's. I think that. Funnily enough, I think it's the attract. I always associate the attraction that people have with these more to do with the idea that they represent. Because I mean, they came from hippie culture. They came from that era, and it kind of is like even this one with the surfboard on top.
Yeah.
Is that like
Travel.
You know, it's travel, but it's effectively kind of like a real statement about who you are as well. Like you're just like, I don't give a shit. I drive a VW camper van.
But that's like I looked into doing that last summer where I wanted to rent one in
Yeah.
America and drive around
Drive Route
for like
66.
2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but the prices were just fucking extortionate. Like
Yeah.
it was absolutely
I'd
insane.
love to get a Winnebago and do that. Like just a big.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be cool as well.
Yeah. What's this?
When CBM is massive, and you know we've sold multiple films.
And we got to do that press tour across the states. Then we do
Yeah,
it like
let's just get one of those massive like band
buses.
RVs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like small houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, they're like regular sized
Do you
houses.
remember the tour bus when we went into that warehouse when we were shooting ground floor and we were like, "There's just a tour bus in here, like a band tour bus."
Oh yeah, was that like a 2-story one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the side thing was open and there was just laptops in there. And we were like, "Do we take them?"
Yeah, is this like a first come first serve kind of thing?
It was
Will
so
they miss
random.
one?
It was the weirdest thing ever.
That
Just
place
walk
was
into
crazy.
this warehouse and look straight forward. And it's just like, oh well, there's a bus in here, and it's not just a regular bus. It's like a double decker, like band tour bus. Okay, that's bizarre.
Full of nice things.
Z, what's up, yo?
Speaking of which, just as a side note, the Euro Millions is 190 million on Tuesday. Just,
Did we
He's
not
a
do
little
this
obsessed.
3 days ago?
yeah,
And we didn't win.
It didn't work.
We got to pay those exact numbers though.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Even if no one else wants to play them, I'm gonna play those exact numbers.
Until
I
it
believe in
All 10 of those lines.
Yeah.
Jesus. What did you do that I did not hear about?
On set, I was like, "Hey, everybody, the Euro Millions is 180 million." It's
Everyone
like,
wanna chip in.
If you want in, it was all optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you want in.
He barely pressed the knife into my back. I know other
Oh,
features
it said
like
no.
that.
It said it's me as well. I was like, yeah, how much did 250? Yeah, here you go.
No, he came to me and like I was like, I don't know, Baz, and then he like, I could just feel just a slight nip into my ribs, and I was like, Baz, is that?
I was
You
just
didn't
using
twist
my
it, though.
thumbnail. I didn't have a knife.
Yeah.
But he made him think
But
I
if
had a
he,
knife.
he was saying that if he won the lotto, he would be able to get a knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saving up for the knife.
And you wanted Barry to stab you that bad.
I was like, oh man, okay, here's your 250.
Oh, little guy.
We didn't even win a fucking scratch card though.
Random object.
Okay, this is gonna make absolutely no sense, but
Yeah. Correct on that one.
I wanna
Is that
touch
the
it.
top of like a
know.
It looks like that.
curtain
Yes.
pole? That's
see,
what it
that's
looks like.
what it looks like, and I think that's originally what it was.
Okay.
Okay, so about 3.5 years ago, I got a hold of a new building and we expanded the business, and now, terrifyingly enough, I'm responsible for a lot of other people's livelihoods and not just my own.
Yeah.
I have employees and shit, which is a mind fuck. But went in, was looking for this building, this new mystical building that I could move into and expand and do whatever. And shit went down, everything fell apart. The first couple of buildings, it all just went to hell in a handbasket. Nama took over, there was receivership, everything went to, it was just, we got so far on 2 buildings and it just went to hell.
Yeah.
So then I went and looked at a building after all this shit going down. And I went in and I was like, oh Jesus, it's huge. It's too much. It's too
Yeah.
big. And he pulled me aside and was like, the fuck are you doing? It's perfect. And I went in and I looked again and I was like, okay, I've just been scared off because how shit just went so badly wrong a couple of times. And I went in, I was like, okay. Signed the lease on a Wednesday, had a guy in Thursday, building a treatment room downstairs. Was in myself. You've seen it. It's like this big wave of like really beautiful handmade wooden kind of poles in this kind of little section as you come in the door.
As you come in the door, kind of waiting area. Well,
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
There's a thing and then the waiting area.
Exactly, and it's beautiful. And the place, weirdly enough, used to be an antique shop.
Oh.
Interesting.
It was also an art gallery.
Because we're
Yeah.
also, it's just interesting though as well because we're sitting in what used to be an antique shop.
Cyclical man.
Yeah.
So it used to be this antique shop. The wiring was fucked. We had to pull down like 15, 16 tracks of burned out wiring for lights. And they had stuck 3 of these ugly motherfuckers on top of this beautiful piece of like this wave of wood. And it was beautiful. And I was like, I need to take that shit off. And I spent an hour and a half pulling nails and screws out of it. Because they'd stuck so many nails in it, because they were hanging products from it and lights and whatever. So I literally was there with pliers, pulling nails out, and had a bucket of them by the end of it, so the painter could come in and sort it out.
Jesus.
And it was that disgusting blue. That's what colour it was. It was so bad. And the bathroom was like neon yellow with blue wood, that colour blue wood.
Oh my God.
It was atrocious.
And that was in Loughrea. That wasn't even Clare. Like, in Clare, you'd be like, oh God, they're fair patriotic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Claire Triadic.
So
Patriotic.
yeah, that kind of I held on to because
That's cool.
it was like the end of the old.
Yeah, that's cool. Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dreidel.
So yeah, like we signed the lease and 2 weeks later we opened.
And that building's amazing.
Terrifyingly fast, yeah.
A little bit of a story, I'll try and get to it quickly, about that building is when I was in for my treatment, and after we said we'd do some kind of deep relaxation stuff.
Yeah.
And I went down what I can only describe as a spirit journey. Like, and there was actually no DMT.
therapy.
Like, there was no DMT involved. Like, but it,
no psychogenics.
yeah, but it kind of felt like that, and it wasn't a guided meditation or anything. Like, as in you weren't. It wasn't.
No, it was.
It was all.
Yeah.
If it was guided, it wasn't through spoken word. It was through like energies and stuff. But it was mental because first thing I said to you, I was like, And there was this lighthouse, and there was this lighthouse, and there was this light. The thing that kept recurring in what I was saying back was about this lighthouse, and you were just like, I remember seeing your face, and you were like, you gotta see this. I was like, what? And went upstairs, and there's like a painting of a lighthouse and a thing of a lighthouse, and I was like, what the no, this is weird. And you were like, you were out of your body, yo. You were like floating around up here. I was like, oh man. But it's weird because I like, it's crazy how lighthouses have a meaning to me. So that was like, but it was just bizarre that they were up. There was so many of them in the second floor. It's like, what?
Yeah,
that's weird.
They were hiding.
Yeah. It was,
weirdly.
But there's energies in that place.
There's a lot of interesting vibes in that spot, and we propagate those nice vibes, and it's lovely because we've even had people fall asleep sitting outside waiting for somebody else to have a treatment. Yeah, like
been there, done that. Funny story is that I was sitting in the waiting room,
fantastic.
and normally the first thing I do is A, take out my phone and mess with it. B, if I had my Nintendo Switch on me, take my Nintendo Switch out and mess with it. I had both of those things on, but my phone was running out of battery, so I wasn't going to take it out really. I put it on silent or airplane or something, and then I was like, oh, I can take my Switch out and play it. And literally I was just like, I feel like it would be disrespectful to this room to like do that. So what I did was I just did nothing and just relaxed, and legitimately it was like
half my work was done for me
relaxed.
before I even got there.
It was like I just stopped for a minute, which is maybe would have helped before that point.
Yeah, maybe.
My random object is this film cell from Carrie.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
It is, but you know the way you were always like, oh, but you say it's random and you have a big story about it. This came in a loot crate. I have no big story. Not a loot crate, horror block.
Which frame is it?
It's actually the iconic one of her with her hands up to her face.
Oh, way. Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
Um,
Because I think in a loot crate I got one from Star Wars, and it's just like a random shot of Tatooine. And I'm like, it's rubbish. Like. But that's actually really cool.
It is, but the only thing about it, and this is the only kind of story I can tell with it, is that I'm a huge horror buff, and that's like, it's a huge no-no to like dislike Carrie the movie, and I'm not a huge fan. Never have been.
Never seen it. I don't like horror films.
It's funny, me and Tubbs have talked about this before, that like both big Stephen King fans, both big, horror nuts, and neither of us have this huge love for that film. That it's considered as the iconic Stephen King movie. Like,
I went out with a girl called Carrie for a while.
oh, I did too years ago. No way.
Yeah, she was just as much a psycho as that film.
Yeah. I'm
Sorry, she's not a patron. She's not going to. She doesn't support me.
But yeah, it was weird because I saw the remake of Carrie.
Who was in that again?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
Moretz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
She's filming something in Dublin at the minute.
Is she? Yeah. Like, but
friend of mine is an extra up there. He put up a selfie with her the other day.
I watched the remake though, and I was like, I prefer this because I didn't have a huge attachment to the original.
I like this remake as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things where I guess if you do have this like huge attachment to the original, you will never accept the remake or the reboot.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that being said, though, the It remake has been quite popular.
It's interesting because I keep talking about this with the whole like. I think as well as that, with that, it's a reimagining.
Yeah.
Because the book was so expensive and so massive, you could it can be two different films. You know what I mean? And because Bill Skarsgård was clever enough to go, well, I don't want to be that Pennywise. I want to be something totally different.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Whereas remakes, I feel, are like Tubbs did a really good example of that last week. His random thing was the Psycho remake on VHS. And I was like, why the fuck did you bring this piece of shit in here? And he was like, because I just wanted, like, this is what happens when you make a remake that's just a direct remake of the original, and it's rubbish. Because that was the whole point Gus Van Sant had when he got brought on to do it. But, yeah, it's true, like, I think with it, whereas other remakes, like Let the Right One In was remade as Let Me In with Chloe Grace Moretz as well. And I love the original, but I like the American one. And there's so many people out there that will tell you can't do that. That's what annoys me the most, I think. When you go online,
I can do whatever I want.
Oh, I know, but it's like Star Trek, Star Wars. People are like, you can only like one of them. It's like, fuck you, I like whatever the fuck I want. Where are these rules? Where are these commandments about, like, if thou hast liked Star Wars, thou cannot like Star Trek? Like it just makes no sense. I don't like Doctor Who. That's like one of those things where there's loads of people that would.
I've never watched a full episode of Doctor Who.
Loved Torchwood.
See yet again,
Never got massively into Doctor Who.
I haven't watched Torchwood, but it entices me more from like looking at promotional
good.
materials for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks really cool. I want to watch that. I never had that with Doctor Who.
What's he doing?
Chickens and shit.
He's trying to be casual and not
We
and
lost the camera.
just jump out and then
Oh,
all of
yeah.
it.
It's going to be all these
No.
two cameras from here.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's all good. We're pretty much winding up, but that was Random Things'
Yeah.
final shout outs now, bro.
I may or may not have completely forgotten that has that half-hour recording limit. So we got the first half hour.
Oh shit!
No.
And it literally just dawned on me when I seen the red light, and I was like, "There's nothing over there." Whoops.
Filming
Ba-dum-bum.
problem.
Tune in next week for the exciting.
Same badge of time,
Same budget play.
same badge channel.
Badge channel.
Yeah.
We're at
Yeah.
the time of final shout-outs. I guess one of the final shout-outs is definitely, as we say, Retribution is now available on VOD, realhouse.com, which is... I'm not going to try and tell you where to buy our film, but if you're going to buy it, buy it on realhouse.com. It's great that it's on Amazon as well. Amazon's awesome, but I guess for me it's because I can't buy it on Amazon, because Amazon is literally UK, Germany, Japan and USA, and if you're in not one of those territories you can't buy it. So when I tried to buy it on Amazon and couldn't buy my own movie, I was like, well, no, screw it. And realhouse.com let me, so I really like realhouse.com. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. We've just wrapped on Saviour, which will, as we say, you'll be able to see it in February. We're finishing up work on Intervention, and we're also refinishing up work on Ambenji.
Yeah, and refinishing your appraisal and finishing Necessary Evils.
And Nick has had some great news that your appraisal got into 2 festivals.
Yeah.
It's gotten into the Richard Harris, and it's also gotten into the Unrestricted View
Yeah.
Horror Film Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to make my way from constant.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dance remix. Songified this motherfuckers. Is there anything you guys want to say?
Thanks for having me.
Thank
It's
you for
been
being
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to just sit and chat.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's funny though, because a lot of people. Well, so far we've only had a lot of people. So many people. Okay, we've had so many.
They're the bestest people that you've never heard of yet.
But no, of the few people, I guess, then that we've had on. Sorry, Mike.
Who's Mike?
This guy.
That guy.
Of the few people we've had on, like Becky was like, I hate talking. I'm so nervous. And like literally when she got on, she was fucking hilarious and was totally. It's. The vibe is different, I think.
Yeah, I think it's when you're kind of friends and you've all worked together, it's nice to just
It's easy.
sit and chat. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not work.
Exactly. It's fucking sweet.
But the work comes when we have to edit the podcast.
Yeah, Barry.
Or forget to hit record. Or forget that there's a half-hour record limit on those cameras.
That's great. That was recording you a Vachn anyway, it's fine.
Yeah.
When as you say, pass the stuff over to me, when I edit it'll just off the one can put digital push in.
Yeah, constant slow push in and out and you the whole time.
Who am I, fucking Tubbs? We've joked about that on this before.
Yeah.
Because I said something in the first episode and you were like, who are you, Tubbs? So at the end of the show, we always definitely like to give a massive shout out to our patrons.
You guys are the bestest.
Specifically, I know one of them is sitting right here with us.
Hello.
Of the patrons that we have to give a actual, vocal shout out to. So they're the people that have pledged above a certain amount.
How much?
That's brilliant. I'm just checking now.
How
I
much?
have to put it at flight mode to do so. So just like bing, 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 bing.
Don't.
I gotta
No.
do it, Joe. There's like people that
That's okay.
We should probably write these down for next time.
We
That's
had
probably
that done
smart.
last time. We just screwed up this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to do? I'll record it separately and put it in at the end. And a massive shout out to Yeah.
Some peeps and
Because I'm on airplane mode. And if I turn it off, it'll make loads of noise.
Okay.
I
Oh
don't know.
God.
So wait, just leave a point for me to do the cut into me talking about.
You can cut out all of that stuff and
Perfect.
just put it in over it.
I'm gonna put that in as bloopers at the end.
Don't cut out my bird chirping though. There's bird chirping in there really quietly somewhere.
Yeah. That was really good.
Anyway, that is it for episode 3 of Badger Banter. This will air sometime in mid to late October, and we'll be on the show next week with somebody who we haven't decided yet.
I'm on a roller coaster.
What? Trump?
I'm on a roller coaster.
We.
Thank you so much to our 2 amazing guests, Vachn, Gill, and Aaron Walsh.
Oh.
And thank you for not coming on and spoiling anything, unlike Tubbs.
And having to make us edit it.
Does that man have I sometimes think he doesn't have a brain. That it's just an empty cavity that stuff is just flinging around and slapping off walls, reverberating off each other.
That sounds like an insult, but it does.
Do you know like Joan winning streak where they're like, and next week, and then the big thing of balls and one comes out at the bottom. That's what it reminds me of. His thoughts are in those
Or
balls.
the South Park episode with the manatees, where it's like the manatees are making Family Guy episodes but just pushing random balls around, and then 4 of them come together and drop out, and that's the episode of Family Guy. Like that kind of, I think, is kind of possibly
Just something random just goes, oh, okay, and he just starts talking about it.
yeah.
No.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
wrap this up.
Yeah, bye, Tubbs.
That's
Thanks
it.
for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
listening.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Love
look
you.
at this camera because I feel bad for it.
It's dead.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's back on.
Oh.
Okay, bye.
It's only back on for the last 5 minutes.
Oh.
Bye.
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 Too many cameras.
Is it done?